Welcome to this lecture on multilinear regression. In this lecture, we will see in detail the practical implementation of multiple regression using Python. So we have already seen the basic concept of what is regression in a simple regression environment. We saw some basic equations and how it is getting solved in the code as well. But let's make it a little more complex and understand what are the further analysis and steps that is carried out in finding the final solution and building the model. So this is going to be very simple and easy approach. Just pay some attention and understand this. So to carry out multilinear regression, I'm going to take a particular data set, a problem. This data set is of a car's information. So there are certain cars listed and the car's speed, mileage, number of cylinders, various other informations are presented or contained in that particular data set. Let's first read that file and analyze what are the information present in that data set. And before that, I'm importing the required libraries, pandas, numpy, matplotlib and all those things. I'm selecting all these lines and executing them in the console window. Once these lines gets executed, my car's data frame gets created. Yeah, so it is now ready. I'm just trying to visualize or read the first 40 lines of my car's data frame. So these are the columns that is present in my data frame. There is horsepower, mileage, volume, speed and weight. These 5 columns are the contents of my data frame. So if we could see the dimensions of data frame in the variable explorer window, it shows there are 81 rows and 5 columns, meaning 81 different cars, and each cars the 5 columns are given here. So using this, what we can predict, the goal what we are going to define for this problem is to try and predict the mileage value provided the remaining features of the car. Say if I am going to give you the features of the car, horsepower, volume, speed and weight, can you predict the mileage? That is the ultimate question that we are going to try and find out of this multiple linear regression. The reason why it is multiple linear regression, here the number of variables or the features has increased more than 1, as we saw in the equation. That is the case here. So before going to build the model straight away, that one line statement, we will analyze and understand what is the information contained in the data. So for that, I am trying to build a plot. That plot is called as a pair plot, so where each and every variable is compared against each other. So this is the 3 lines of code that is required to build the pair plot, and once we build the pair plot, all these 5 columns will be compared against each other. So the pair plot is actually got built and it is behind the screen. It is not still come up to the foreground window. Yeah, now it is ready. Since it is a huge plot, it has taken some time. Okay, so this is how the maximized plot, when I maximize my window, this is how my plot occurs. So the graph has to be read from top to bottom, left to right. So the features are horsepower, mileage, volume, speed, weight. So when I am going to start putting here horsepower, the first column, horsepower and horsepower matches and it produces its own column. Then mileage, then volume, then speed, then weight. So reading the values of the same column is not going to be of use. That is why this is just plotting its own distribution. The remaining values are x comma y scatter plots. Say for example, this particular plot, column row number 5, column number 3. This is against volume and weight. As the volume of vehicle increases, the weight also has got increased. This is a perfect correlation what we are able to observe here. So this is a trend in which most of the cases we are able to will be able to observe this trend, and the upper triangle is going to reflect the lower triangle. So if we are going to split across this diagonal, the upper triangle is going to be the mirror of below the lower triangle, because it's the same comparison in bidirectional way. Okay, so this gives us a slight insight into the data, which are the parameters that is most affecting. There is correlation in this particular graph. There is a very little correlation in the remaining graph. These occurs too much scattered and there doesn't seem to be any relationship between these 2 parameters. So with this analysis is what we are going to proceed further, how it is going to be useful. Okay, So now let's go back to the code and see what are the other things we have done here. Now we are going to plot this columns. So this is going to say these are the columns present in my data frame. The next step what I am going to do is building my model and observing the output values, the summary information. So to build the model, I am importing statsmodels.formula.api as SMF, and inside that there is going to be the OLS equation, ordinary least squares method, and I am going to build the equation of the form output against the remaining all inputs. So mileage is the output, the remaining 4 inputs are going to be the input, and the input data is going to be of cars data frame dot fit. So this produces my model ML1. So before that I need to import my library. So let me select that and execute it again. Once the model is built, we can check the summary values. Params is optional because all these are included in the summary itself. So in summary, as we have seen before, 2 parameters are to be read. One is the R squared. Just we read this and make a note to ourselves, that is 0.7, 0.75. This is the R squared value, and the each and every features p value. So if we see here, the p value is reflects that weight and volume are greater than 0.05, meaning these 2 parameters are not so significant in the output model contribution. The output model is not affected by these 2 parameters, or it's not affecting positively in calculating the output. So we need to consider dropping these 2 columns. So let's try and see what we can do. So for that purpose, what we do, the next step is we are going to try and rebuild the model again by using the parameters predicting y mileage against just the volume, because we are trying to ignore volume and weight. So in this case, let me build the equation against mileage and volume alone, data equal to cars dot fit model, and see what does the summary return. Okay, so the summary, to print the summary, either I have to put it inside the print statement or just execute it again. So here we are able to see the volume again. When I'm going to treat volume alone separately, this is having a p value of less than 0.05, and also R squared is 0.280. Okay, so this is still less than 1, R squared is less than 1, but the p value is also less than 0.5. So this seems to be positively impacting value when we consider volume as a single variable, independent variable. Then we need to understand why volume is then impacting when we include it into the whole model. Okay, that before considering that analysis, let's try and predict weight alone. Like how we did for volume, we will predict mileage against weight alone separately and see how it is going to predict this time. What are the values it is going to predict this time. So once I build the model, let this get completed. Yeah, so it is done, and I'm executing the model summary line. Select this and then selecting this again, and then executing this thing. Yeah, now I got the model summary for mileage against weight. Even in this case, my p value is less than 0.05, and then adjusted R squared is of the same order, 0.2, somewhere around 0.2. Okay, so this still contributes to the model output and seems to be positive enough. So then we will, whatever variables are being problematic, we will combine both of them and see how the result is in this case. So just it's an iterative trial and error method. That's what we are doing it here. There is nothing special or new about it. We are just with heuristic approach, like with experiences about the subject matter data present here. We are trying to build different models with different values and see what are the values that is impacting. See, in this case, when we combine both the problematic values together, weight and volume, my p value is shooting more than 0.05, and the r squared value is remaining of the same order of 0.2. But this shows there is some problem with these two parameters when used together. So both the coefficients of p-value becomes insignificant in this case. So we will see what is the data that is causing this problem. Instead of blindly complaining on weight or volume, we will try to analyze what are those values which is affecting weight and volume in this case. So to understand that, we can build a plot called as an influence plot. So this influence plot will give us, when we give a specific model object to this influence plot, that model object will create a graph which is going to give us what are those input data that is causing or that is impacting the model behavior. So once I visualize the graph, that should be clear, you will be able to understand. The model that we are going to consider here is ML1, meaning the first built model with all the input data. So since we are not able to arrive at it solidly what should be the decision taken, I am going to build the total influence plot from the model 1 itself. Okay, the pair plot initially built was causing some problem. I had to close it forcefully. Now my influence plot has come up here. So this influence plot shows what are these row information that is affecting the errors. So the studentized residuals on the y-axis refers to the error output, like actual minus predicted values, y minus y cap, the actual mileage minus the predicted mileage. That is called as the residual. So we are also considering the horizontal axis, whichever data that is impacting the whichever individual data, the row data that is having maximum error value, that is causing the maximum error value. So in this case, the data point 76 and 70 are containing higher residual values, higher error values, like of the order of more than 4, the error value 4, and in negatively impacting 70 of minus 2. These 2 points are causing more errors. So we will decide to drop these 2 values and see if the model improves further. This is not the right approach to drop these 2. We can go and read the values. If that is the car information that is going to be something wrong or incorrect information, then we can confidently drop the values, or else we need to consider including these parameters also. So 76 or 70, I am going to drop it currently. So cars.drop, cars.index 76 70, axis 0, meaning I am going to drop the row axis. So that is the operation I am going to carry out here. Once the new cars data frame is created after dropping those 2 rows, with help of the new cars data frame, I am going to build a new model. So mileage against all 4 parameters, but the data frame is new right now. So let me build the ML new model again. After building it, let me read the summary. So once I read the summary, still my weight and volume p-value are of higher order, that is of more than 0.05. It has even got worsened. It is not got reduced. And the same case with r squared. It is 0.81, 6.80. It has even increased more than 0.67. Okay, so this is the behavior we understand by analyzing the data even after removing the outliers, trying to build a new model. This is the case so far. So without any other option, we will drop the volume and weight going further. So before doing that, there are some other calculations, like we can identify the confidence around our new model's mean value. Okay, so what is this new model's mean value or confidence? By which I mean is these are individual parameters and the coefficients that were predicted. For each coefficient, this is the confidence interval, or for 99% confidence interval, these are the values between which it can lie. Okay, so this is just a additional information that we are able to extract and see it from the model. This is of very less significance because we are going to replace it with actual coefficient scores, not interval of scores. Okay, just ignore this additional input. We will now proceed ahead with building a new model. So here I am trying to predict with the latest model that is constructed and see the output. But this is not the model we are going to finally freeze with. So I'm not going to execute or read this information here, but it is better to go ahead and see what is the final model we are going to build and analyze that. So this is the final model I'm going to build and see how it is behaving. Okay. So once I build the model, I'm interested in seeing the summary values. Okay. So this summary values, I'm going to have only speed and horsepower. It is less than 0.05 and my error has also remained conservatively the same. It has come down to 0.65 from 0.67, and this is a model what I will be making use of it going further as well. So this is the final model which we will carry forward and then go with our prediction. Okay. So this is final ML is the model that I am going to make use of it. Okay. Once this final ML is created, let me predict the existing car's new data frame for the output mileage, so that I can compare the predicted and actual values and see how good my model is. Okay. So before predicting that plot, I am going to plot one another graph as well. This graph is called as a partial regression plot, meaning the regression line against output and every other input. So this is the intercept against mileage, speed against mileage, and horsepower against mileage. Only these are the three things that is present inside our model. As we can observe from this table as well, there is intercept, speed, and horsepower. These three are the parameters actually existing in the model, and we are able to see what is the regression present with the help of the line. So this is the data, and this is the best fit regression line that we have identified also. Okay. So once we are able to read and just understand the best fit regression line that has occurred, and finally we can plot a graph and see how the observed values and fitted values are. So observed are nothing but actual values, fitted values are predicted values. So when we plot actual and predicted values, that should fall along the diagonal 45-degree line. So it is not exactly on the 45-degree line, but somewhere around that 45-degree line, meaning it is somewhere nearby a good model. Not so worst performing model is what we can understand from this graph. So this is an example for multiple linear regression. You can try out with multiple data sets. There are lots of data sets available to carry out this multiple regression. The references are provided and the notes are provided as well. Thank you.